Today on the Bass Channel, we're talking about the BeatBass VS from Harley Benton. This classic model is inspired by the legendary sound of the Beatles bassist and songwriter Paul McCartney. Its hollow body design, authentic styling, and high-quality vintage sunburst finish will take you right back to the good old days. The body is made of basswood, or is it basswood? I don't know, and has a set-in maple neck with a 22-fret purpleheart fretboard. As is typical for this timeless style of bass, the scale length has been reduced to 775 millimeters, or if you prefer the imperial unit of measurement, that's about 30.5 inches. The strings feed 2 BeatBass humbuckers, while 2 volume controls and 3 sound switches let you dial in the perfect vintage tone. It's got chrome hardware, a floating bridge, die-cast tuners, and comes from the factory with 45 to 100 gauge strings. However, in this particular video, we are using black nylon tape wounds from Labella, which we'll talk about in a future video. Okay, so the last time we featured a Harley Benton instrument on this channel, I had some apparently controversial and less than favorable things to say regarding those instruments. And I will say that for that video featuring the PJ Fender style bass, I still stand by it. If you don't know what I'm talking about or you're outraged by it, I suggest you go watch it again because I don't feel like what I said was that triggering. It's just my opinion. Which now leads us to this one. Same manufacturer, completely different style instrument, and a completely different opinion. So to briefly summarize my point in the last Harley Benton video featuring the Fender style PJ, I am against just buying a cheap bass for the sake of just buying it. It's $100, let's just buy it and we can have 2 basses or 5 basses. Again, I go watch it again if you don't remember, but I just don't agree with buying stuff for the sake of buying it so we can have another one as a mod platform or whatever. This one I have a completely different opinion on because this is such a unique instrument and it's unlike anything I own and it's unlike anything I've ever played. Now I understand that this bass has been around for a long time, this body style at least I should say, so plenty of people have played it, but for people like me, I'm sure there's a couple out there, who don't really have experience with this instrument, now the Harley Benton cheaper, inexpensive, affordable, whatever synonym you want to use for that word, that comes into play more because now it's kind of like, you remember like 20 years ago when you go to the CD store and you could like pop open the CD and listen to it before you bought it to make sure you actually liked the songs beyond just the lead single? That's kind of how I feel about this. Before I got this, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it would feel. I didn't know how it would sound. I didn't really know how it would look on me, which I'm a kind of a bigger person, so it does look a little silly. But outside of that, I think it feels and sounds great. I love the tone, especially with these flat wounds. And I think this is kind of a great sampler way to see if something is going to work for you without putting too much skin in the game. For example, it would be a little hard to justify dropping the German-made Hofner price on something that may or may not work well for me. Which leads us back to the more Fendery PJ version. How many people out there haven't played a PJ? I mean, if it's your first instrument, cool. Get the Harley Benton, no problem. If it's your 12th instrument, you most likely... Anyway, this one I didn't know, so I am very grateful that something like this exists so I can use it as a sampling platform to see if this vibe fits me. And I'm pleased to say that my style of playing and kind of what my ear wants to hear out of my fingers and the instrument in my fingers are changing a little bit, and they want to hear something a little different than some kind of metallic PJ or something of that nature. This is a nice, fresh change of pace for me. It kind of gets my mind in a different place. It leads to different creative ideas and different styles of playing, and it's helping me grow as a player. That's really the most that we can ask from instruments outside of fitting in a mix of whatever project we're in and looking cool on stage. So I really have nothing but good things to say about this in its concept, in the principle of it. Obviously, what you expect when you're going to get a budget instrument. Could the tuners be better? Yes. Could the fretwork and the setup be better? Yes. But beyond that, I mean, really, for the price that you pay for one of these, I have no complaints. Obviously, the German-made Hofner version is going to be worlds and miles and light years and other units of measurement better than this one, objectively speaking. But for someone who doesn't know, who's just wanting to get into it, I think this is a great point. So now that I've said the same thing in 4 different ways, let me know what you thought. I think that these tapes fit this bass tremendously. And I will say one thing again, I'm going to touch on this more in the Labella flat wound, tape wound video. Despite this being a short scale at approximately 30.5 inches, these are the medium scale strings because of the way that the tailpiece sits and the bridge is. The short scale doesn't fit this bass. The silk does not clear the nut, so you have to go with the medium scale. I have used the short scale on other short scale basses back here. We'll talk about that again, like I said, in the video about these, but if you own this or own one like it and you want to put tapes on it, specifically the Labellas, go with the medium scale, just because you got to account for this extra distance here at this tailpiece. But other than for that, I am psyched on the way this sounds. I'm pretty psyched on the way it looks, at least on the wall, as silly as it looks strung around my gigantic shoulders. And that is just about all I have to say about this guy. So if you're interested in checking it out, I can tell you without a doubt it feels good, it sounds good, and I hope you dig it if you do get one. If you hate it, cool, you don't have to buy it. So I'm going to leave you with that. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you hated it, give it a dislike. And make sure you subscribe so you continue to like or dislike in the future. If you want to go the extra mile and support us and see some extra exclusive extended content, check out the join button down below to be a channel member. And like I said, there you'll get exclusive and extended content. I think I am just about done saying the same thing in multiple ways. So until next time, I'm Chris with the Bass Channel, and I'll see you later.